Hey, welcome back to my channel. So this is episode 4 and I'll be talking about how to create users and also add devices to your on-prem environment and also have it sync to the cloud. So we'll be doing this basically using PowerShell, right? Guys, let's go check this out. All right, so in today's demo, basically what I want to walk us through is on how to create user accounts with PowerShell and also how we can add a device to our on-premises Active Directory using PowerShell. So those are the two things we'll be doing in today's tutorial. All right. And I also want to show you guys this. And once we are done with that, we would also synchronize the users and the devices. We synchronize them so they can show up in Entra ID. As you can see here, guys, this is my Microsoft Entra Admin Center, right? If I go to users, all right, all users, you notice I have about, let's see, okay, I have about 4 user accounts, as you can see here. I have 4 user accounts. This is on Entra in the cloud, right? So what we'll do now is, in the on-premises Active Directory, we'll use PowerShell to create a new user, right? And then have that user synced to our Entra Admin Center right here. All right, I have a couple of VMs. I have 3 VMs. This one right here is my domain controller, right? This is where I have my Active Directory, right? And if we go to users, I created an organization unit, an OU called staff, and I have 2 users right here. And as you can see those 2 users here as well, IT admin and support. While these 2 user accounts were already created in Entra. Now, let me tell you guys something. When you create a user account in Entra, those user accounts cannot sync with your on-premises. You can't do a reverse sync, right? But when you create a user account on your Active Directory that's on premises, you can have those users synced to Entra. But any user you create on Entra cannot be synced to your Active Directory. That's why I have more user accounts here compared to the Active Directory that's on premises. Now, what we want to do is we'll use PowerShell to create a new user account. So I'll launch PowerShell as an admin. All right, I have a command I've just typed here. I'll paste in the command. And I also want to make sure that once we create an account, the account is enabled. So I'm just going to put enabled $true. All right, this account I want to create, the name of the account will be contacts. It will be like a contact account for our tenants, right? If people want to contact us, they can reach out to this account. So that's basically the kind of account I want to create. So I'm just going to hit enter. Okay, great. Now this account should be created. Let's see. So I'm going to minimize this. All right, this is our staff organization unit. I will refresh this page. As you can see, the PowerShell command I ran just created this account in our Active Directory that's on premises. All right, and when you come over to Entra, it's going to take a couple of minutes before it populates. Maybe it takes about 5 to 10 minutes before it propagates. So I'm just going to refresh. All right, it's not showing up yet. Now, while we are waiting, let's quickly go use PowerShell to add a device, to join our device to a domain. I have another, what's it called? I have another virtual machine, right? This virtual machine is called test user, right? So I'm going to show you guys that this virtual machine is not on a domain. Let's go to settings. Let's go to accounts. Let's go to assets, work or school. As you guys can see, this computer is not joined to any domain. And also, let me run this command on PowerShell. I'm just going to run this command on PowerShell. Let's see. It's called ds-reg-cmd space /status. I'm just going to scroll to the top. As you can see, it says here, Azure AD joined, no. Enterprise joined, no. Domain joined, no. Right? So this computer, this test user computer, is a fresh virtual machine I just installed. It is not joined to a domain. Now, for us to have this computer join, this VM join to a domain, this is what we need to do. So I'm just going to go to PowerShell, right? I'm going to go to PowerShell and I'll run this command. Let's run this command on PowerShell. New name. I want to give this device a new name. I want to call it, let's call this device IT-PC, IT-PC-01. That's what we want to call this PC. Now also, if we come here, my domain is ad.pauloubertech.com. Yeah, that is my domain name. All right, guys, if this is your first time of stumbling on my channel, I've created a couple of series. This is the episode 4. If you want to check out videos on how I create virtual machine or how I set up the Entra Connect Sync, I have previous videos that I'm going to link at the top right corner. Just check this video out to follow up with this series. All right, but before I run this command, right, let me show you guys. Let's come to computers. You'll notice the only thing we have here is, this is my domain controller. The only thing we have here in computer is AAD Connect. That's the only computer that's currently joined. And if we come to Entra and I go to devices in Entra, let's see what we have there. Bear in mind, I'm yet to run that command to add the device or to join the device to our domain. All right, guys, as you can see, in Entra, we have 2 devices. We have our domain controller and we have our AAD Connect, right? But what we don't have yet is this test user that I'm about to add. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just hit enter. All right, now it's prompting us to put in my admin credential. So I'll put in my username, my admin username and password, and I'll click on OK. There you go. Now that computer just restarted. All right, so I'm going to launch the device again. But before I do that, on our domain controller, let's refresh this computer OU and see what happens. There you go. That computer has now been joined to our domain controller. So I'll go ahead and restart the restart the computer. That's VM. So it's called test user. So let's launch it again. All right, there you go. So I just rebooted this device. I'm going to expand it so we can see what's at play. I'm going to use smart sizing so you can see what's happening. All right, this is the device we just joined to the domain. Now let's go check settings. This is where we'll confirm if this device has been joined to a domain. Settings. Let's go to accounts. Let's go to access work or school. Guys, as you can see, it says this device is connected to Paul Ubertech AD domain, right? That's what we want to see. Now, second thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to launch PowerShell. I'm going to run PowerShell as an admin. And I'll type in dsreg cmd /. Let's do join. Let's use this join parameter. I'll hit enter. All right, that is completed. And now the next thing I want to do is, after this join, I have this AAD Connect virtual machine, right? We also need to run a PowerShell command. I'm going to post all this PowerShell command in the description page so you can check it out. And then if you need to recreate this, you can use those PowerShell commands. I will run this as an admin. And I would type or paste this command I have on my notepad. So basically what this command does is it synchronizes the Active Directory, the Azure Active Directory Connect. It's make sure anything you have on your on-prem Active Directory synchronizes with Entra. So I'm going to click on Enter. Result 6 success. So it has been synchronized. Now, if I come to Entra and I refresh, you may not see that device, right? You may not get to see that device. So one thing we need to do real quick is to go back to that test user virtual machine and restart it. I'm going to go to restart anyway. So I'll launch the VM one more time. Let's launch the virtual machine, test user. So this is the test user virtual machine. Let me do smart sizing. All right, the next thing I want to do here is let's launch PowerShell as an admin. And now I can put in that command again, ds-reg cmd /status and hit enter. All right, guys, as you can see, this device is now Azure AD joined. Enterprise joined, no. That is normal. That's how it's supposed to be. Domain join, yes. So basically, this is how you get your device joined to Active Directory and also synchronize it on Entra. All right, let's click on user, see what we have. All right, as you guys can see, now the accounts we created using PowerShell on the on-prem has now been added to Entra ID. You can see that contact account. All right, now for devices, I'm going to click on devices. Let's go to all devices. Okay, we've got the 3 devices. Now here is the IT PC01 we just created. And it has synchronized on Entra. All right, thank you so much for sticking around till the end of this video. I do appreciate that, guys. But before you go, I would appreciate if you guys can subscribe to this channel. You know, that fuels me, it encourages me to create more tutorial and video about Active Directory and or hybrid IT environment and stuff like that. Like this channel and also share. All right, see you guys. Bye.